Thank you very much, Silvia. Hi, everyone. I am really happy to be here today. Thank you very much for having me. I know it's siesta time, so let's try to make it as entertaining as we can, okay? I've been told to speak about myself, and I will, but also I'll give you some tips to be able to start communicating science and SDG, okay? Well, first of all, what have I studied? Let's start from the beginning. I am 35 years old and I'm from Madrid. I've been living during 1 year in Naples, Italy, and for 3 years in Bristol, the UK. Um, I used to want to be a doctor to take care of people. Okay, when I was a child, I wanted to be a doctor, but I decided to study environmental sciences because I realized that if we don't have a planet to live in, physical health will be just secondary. When I started my degree, it was 2005 or so. A lot of people thought I was some kind of a crazy hippie or something like that that didn't want to study much and just wanted to be laying on the grass. But the thing is, it's nothing further to reality. Environmental sciences are a proper degree that teaches you a bit of every science to be able to understand the whole thing, the whole planet. That's the case that you won't be a specialist of any of the sciences, but you will learn biology, physics, maths, ecology, geology, and also some environmental law and history of the Environmental Conservancy. I really enjoyed my studies, but at some point, and because all of my friends didn't study sciences, I realized how difficult it was to make the people understand the importance of taking care of the environment. Okay, so I started to be curious about science communication. My science wouldn't have as much impact as needed if no one noticed of the existence of it. Also, when the time of voting comes, no one will vote having in mind the importance of science if they don't know about it. That's why I was really interested about making the people understand science. Then when I realized it about it, I was like in a fourth year. So then I followed a course of science communication or SciComm, okay? That's how we call it faster. And I started looking for opportunities to develop my career on it. It didn't look very easy, but it showed up an opening for an internship in Bristol on a nature documentary producer company. So I went there. Um, because they were making nature documentaries, it was much more easier for a scientist or a person with a science background, because I don't consider myself a scientist because I don't do science. Um, so someone with a science background will be easier for them to look for the science stories to tell. Since then, I've been working and learning every day how to communicate better the science that it is going on around me or around the planet. To me, the classical dichotomy of science or arts has no sense. You can do both. In fact, you should do both. Science and arts are not exclusive. Do not resign any of them. Okay, you don't have to pick. Nowadays, I work mostly for three different media. First of all, Retema, which is a technical magazine about environmental issues and companies, in where I write articles to be published with the information that the companies and entities send us, but with a very technical prism. So it will be quite difficult to do for someone without a science or technical background. Also, I sorry, I write articles as well for a blog called Ecolatras that belongs to Ecovidrio. This is about green lifestyle or what to do in your spare time on a greenish way. This one is for an already convinced about the importance of conservancy audience, but on a much lighter tone than Retema. For example, in Ecolatras, I will be speaking about um, I don't know, presents that you can make for Christmas with recycled items in your house. And in Retema, I will be speaking about the new water plant for desalinization that it's been made in Abu Dhabi or something like that. So very, very different. And also, the last but not the least, I write and present a monthly show about science in a radio called Carne Cruda. In this show, I usually talk about a topic and by calling experts on the field, give a broad view of it for the public to understand it. It has a very political analysis, and I try to put all the research in context of society. Because, and this is very, very important, science belongs to society, not to scientists. Also, science happened in an historical and political time. So we as science journalists, we can't forget about it. Um, my responsibilities at work, the most important, as long as I am communicating, is not to lie, basically. It sounds easy, but it takes time to make sure that you are not lying. I have to read a lot and fully understand the concept I am explaining to be able to make the right questions to the people that I am interviewing. For example, I can't make a question about, I don't know, the atmosphere if I don't understand what it is, why is it there, and everything else. So I have to learn first and then ask. Another responsibility, a very important and tricky, speaking about science, is to be clear. I am the translator from scientists to the public. So I have to speak the language of my public. Sometimes scientists can get frustrated because SciComm is not as accurate as they think that it should. It's not accurate enough for them, but we have to be more clear than accurate. Okay. Um, More about my responsibilities and the everyone who is in communication as communicators. We give the public the image of science. So we should be very careful to give them a real one. If we have to choose images, for example, to illustrate an article, uh, we have to pay attention that are not all white people pictures. If we are going to explain a topic with a few experts, I have to make sure that I am including women experts because science is diverse. So SciComm should represent it as well. Um, my responsibility and the media responsibility regarding SDG. Okay, no worries. My responsibility and the media responsibility regarding SDG is to generate awareness, to communicate the transcendence of them and the ways to get there. Okay, the reason to do it is knowing that consciousness can be transformed into action and that there is no social progress if there is no environmental progress and vice versa. This is very important to me. Media and journalism should be active in the same way that citizens are asked to be active about DSG. The media are made up of people who have the same duty. To be able to care for something, you need to know it first. People have to fall in love with them. They have to like what you are telling them, and therefore the media have to make the SDGs understandable. Spain, right now, for example, is quite far from these objectives that were agreed for the 2030 agenda. But this is a race, and we must not throw the towel. We need more education and more information on a specialized topic such as sustainable development goals or environmental impacts and their direct interconnection with the social world. So I'm sure that you are already thinking about being a scientist, but if nobody knows the science you do, who cares? You have to ask yourselves that. There are people in media who are specialized in telling these kind of stories, as I am, but you can do it too. How? Well, a very important principle is not to forget the importance of science communication. Give it the value it has. People has the right and the need to know what is going on. But that's the theory. How can you do it? As everything in life, it works like a muscle. So let's exercise it. Why don't you write a blog, or why don't you start a TikTok about scientific discoveries, or organize a science fair in your school or place where you study? To be able to do that, the very first step is to know how to make a demo. So I'm going to tell you, and I dare you to do one soon, okay? Mm, First of all, a demonstration or a demo, as I will be referring later, is a brilliant way to bring a concept to life. Demonstrations of any kind, like dropping rocks on a powdery surface, making something visible invisible, launching a bottle rocket, or extracting your own DNA, they enable the audience to experience how Mars got its impact craters, the way liquids bend light, how pressure can build and escape, and to see what they are made of. And demos can allow an audience to uncover something themselves. Here go then the 8 things to think about when performing a science demo. The first of all is to choose wisely. There are loads of demos to pick from. So how do you select which one to do? Okay. Firstly, don't just do a demo for just doing it. What do you want to explore with it? You ask yourself that before. And make sure it's relevant to the particular piece of science communication you're doing. If you're doing a fair, you just do something related to that fair, or you can explain your experiment that you presented to the fair or something like that. There are a lot of places on the internet that you can find demos. For example, there are one website that I really like that it is called Steve Spangler's. It has the brilliant Six Science channel on YouTube, which is worth checking out. And also, for example, the Royal Institution channel has a playlist of videos for adults and kids to do it together. The challenge is that you will quickly see that there are a bunch of demos that will be relevant. So how do you choose from them? Okay, two main things. One, keep it simple, by which I mean relatively easy to set up and perform. Also, ideally, you wanted to demonstrate just one principle. Remember that what I said before about clarity, clarity is better than accuracy, complicated. Um, you don't have to tell everything. You only have to tell the people something that they will remember. Remember that you are not doing a proper scientific experiment. This is only a way to demonstrate a scientific concept, okay? What it is demonstrating need to be clear and convincing as well. And two, It needs to be memorable, visual, interesting, emotional, all things. Don't forget about these things that are usually considered minor things. The power of the emotion to communicate and to get to your audience is so big. So use it. You want them to understand science. You can do it through emotion. The second one is practice, 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 and then don't change anything, okay? Before you perform it in front of anyone or maybe on camera, you can use these tips to have your own YouTube channel as well. You need to practice it a good few times. You have got to know it inside out and be confident, and then it will work. You also need to risk assess it as well. Um, and take everything you need with you. If you are making it for another classroom or something like that, uh, don't go empty-handed. You have to bring your own stuff, not just trusting that the place where you are performing will be equipped with the things you need. Because if you do so, swapping in anything you haven't practiced with, it risks failure. Okay. Something that is very important, and I know it looks silly, but it is really important. Make sure they can see the demo. Okay. You need to ensure that the audience can see what is going on. Think about the sidelines and the position of the demo so it is really visible for everyone in the room. If you are standing in a field in the middle of a bunch of best festival goers or in front of a small group of visitors at an event, this won't be a problem. But imagine that you are on a stage or you are on camera. Um, if you are not expecting a huge jet of steaming foam or an impressive switch from black to orange that someone could see right from the back, then you have to use another couple of options. If there is anything that you can supersize it, do it. Um, it is sometimes you can feel like you are just playing, but as I said before, the emotions are powerful, and to play is good fun. So good fun is a really powerful tool to use. Or if the people can see it, maybe you can take it around the room to give all areas of the audience a close-up, if you can supersize. Or maybe if you are on a class, you can use a camera to get a close-up for the action on a screen. Yeah, so the setup is complete. Now it's time to perform. Remember, this is not Too Fast, Too Furious. Do you know the film? All effects and very big explosions, but no story behind. Your demo needs to have its own routine and its own story. On its simplest form, that's a hook that will capture the attention and carefully constructed explanational story to hold it and reveal. Your on-stage presence could be what attracts people. If you're moving, if you're doing something with your hands or mixing things, but you could be very chatty or very charismatic or funny, or equally, it could be just being calm or quiet or very focused or maybe mysterious. The key, though, is to combine that external hook from your stage presence with an internal hook, something in the demo itself which will interest your audience. Find the hook in your demo and bring it up. The mystery and the jeopardy, though, are great hooks. So you can start the demonstration and don't let the audience know what it is going to happen. So they will be interested, like, oh wow, What will happen if she mixes all those reactives? Okay. Something very important as well is to explore together with your audience, because after the catch, the hook that previously said, it comes the hold. It's about deepening their initial interest through interaction, questions, and further playing with the demo. Ask your audience how they think the hook is in there. Let them lead you to investigate, discuss what could be happening as you proceed. Okay? If you can explore the demo through direct interaction, say you're doing a presentation to a big crowd, or or it is a video and the audience isn't there with you, you can still create interaction in the mind of the audience by asking the same question. You just won't be able to hear their answers, but all the questions will resonate in their minds. Where does the reveal happen? The next one. Um, Question your audience what they think will happen. The key here is that you haven't told them what's going to happen before you do it. So the audience has the pieces of the puzzle, and that's the moment where some of the audience will have the reveal by themselves. So the joy of understanding, made even sweeter and more memorable having figured it out by themselves. Not everyone will have it figured out, so discuss it again how you got there. That reveal is both cognitively and emotionally satisfying. As I told you before, when you are a science communicator, you are a translator in between science and society, and make society feel the joy of the revealing, the joy of discovery is so good because they will love it. That's a very good feeling to have, and a very good feeling to be able to transmit. So don't forget that you must engage with them and make them feel it. No, you're not there to show how smart you are and how much you know. You're there to make them learn how to discover. And then it comes the art of direction. As you perform the demo, there are two things that you need to be doing. The first one, remember the emotions are catching. Your audience will mirror you. They will feel what you show you're feeling, okay? Sharing this emotion will build suspense or excitement on the way they reveal. The second is looking. Where you look, they will look. Magicians use the same technique, but it isn't about the art of misdirection, that's what magicians do. It's about the art of a careful direction. Your audience might not have seen a demo before, so you need to show them what to notice. Because, and here's the kicker, demos show phenomena and not principles, okay? You need to make sure they are seeing those phenomena so you can then lead them to connect them with the underlying principles and then explain the hard science. And yeah, hashtag fail. What happens if you've been building to a moment, you've developed the mystery, the anticipation, your audience is really focused on the top of the whatever paper mache volcano, and nothing happens? Even if you practice and brought along all the same kit, there may be factors that you can't control. It just doesn't work. What do you do? Just don't worry and embrace it. The thing is, if you don't appear to make much of a deal about it, your audience won't either. You could just keep calm and carry on, maybe with the classic, well, that's science line. But if you want that moment of satisfaction, then perhaps give it another go. That's why it is always worth bringing enough materials for a second attempt. Also, if something went wrong, along the way, but that led to a funny or an illuminating moment, consider doing it again the same the next time you do it. That's what comedians do. Okay, so are you willing to perform a demo? I would love to chat with you. Will you do a demo? I don't know if you're not speaking or I'm not listening, but I guess that you are not speaking.
Yeah, it was on pause. Sorry.
Oh, okay, okay. So tell
Okay,
me.
who want to answer? Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Um, Actually, I just want to ask you one question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Um, about okay. Both of them. Okay. I think that your work is a sort like community management in a scientific way. So I worked for 2 months in a startup in AI. So I want you to share some tips for this kind of position because I think in 1 month I will start a blog about harassment in school for girls. So I just want to have some tips to be more pragmatic and
Hmm.
more efficient in making this blog.
Okay. The best tips that I can give you for a written piece is to just invert everything you know about how to write on a science way. When you write a paper, um, usually you start with the methods and materials, the way you're doing the experiment, how you're gonna do it, and then the last will be the results. When you write on a journalistic way, you just start from the bottom. The most important thing, you put it on the first paragraph. So if you're starting a blog about, if I don't know, I'm not sure if I get it right, but about harassment to girls,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Um, don't forget to, if you're telling a story, for example, for a person, for a girl that it's being harassed or something like that, the first thing you have to tell is what happened to her. Then you can add some background, then you can add some insights, thoughts, or something else, but the first thing that will be catching the attention will be the more strong facts that you have. Okay, that's the way to keep the attention on a written piece. And as I said for the demo as well, you can use it as well. You can, and because of the topics you will be speaking about, definitely emotions are very powerful and very important, and something that you have to keep in mind. Don't try to make it so sciency. You have to engage the people that will be reading by making them feel like you want them. I mean, maybe you want to generate some awareness by making them feel like the girl harassed or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. I hope it helps. And good luck with your blog.
Thank Any other question? Any other comments? Any other ideas about the demo? No one else can talk. Nobody? Nobody? I
No?
have to push you
Okay.
a little. Okay, so
Let me know. Have any of you ever thought about science communication? What do you think about science journalism? Do you think it's accurate? Do you think it's okay?
We have an answer here.
Hi, I
Yep. I think I personally find it a bit more technical, but that's probably because I'm not aware of that much. That so I'm not aware of the technical terms that are used very commonly, and I think that can sometimes be a hurdle for the readers. But I think aside from that, it's and maybe because of that as well, sometimes it's hard to distinguish whether it's completely factual or is it giving us a complete picture of everything, or are there some missing pieces that I should be researching on my own?
Wow, please don't miss that feeling. Uh, and try to do some science communication yourself, because that prism, that point of view will help a lot of people in the same place that you are right now. So you will be able to be a good translator for them.
Thank you.
And actually, I didn't think or I didn't know that something like this exists, and I'm really relieved that it exists because I'm not a scientist, I'm a cultural anthropologist, but when I started studying cultural anthropology and I read the academical text, I couldn't understand anything because they were formulated in such a complex way and they could have been much easier. And I was really annoyed about the fact that these informations cannot get to the majority of the public or the normal public because they're so complex. And so I think it's great, and there are even professors who are activists for simple formulation, and I think it's really amazing that um, there is this field where people can understand science much easily. So I'm relieved. Yes.
I'm glad you like it, and I really I don't know the word. Sorry, but I really encourage. Yeah, I really encouraged you to also consider a scientist. In my science show, I usually bring anthropologists and the way you research is a science itself. So there are no difference into science and arts, and there are no difference into soft science and hard science. They're all science, they're all really interesting, and they're all related. So please consider yourself as well a scientist. And yeah, if you like psychom, definitely your field has a place in psychom as well. So I'll be looking forward to read or hear something about cultural anthropology.
Thank you.
We have time. Have more?
Okay, any other questions that?
Yeah,
Good.
we have more.
Hello. You mentioned that you were at different countries. I have to question if you noticed any difference in science communication around these different locations you were at.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. For example, in the UK, it's uh, it's amazing. It's awesome. It's so great. It's so big, and it is astonishing how the people has the science communication on a very high consideration. But I'm glad to say that I'm from Spain now. I live in Madrid, and uh, it is changing. And thanks, I have to say thanks, but it's not something to thank for. The climate change awareness. Um, there are the interest from the public is growing about science, and so I think the things are changing all around the world. You can have very great examples of science communication in every part of the world. The New York Times Science magazine is amazing. The BBC documentaries are awesome. Here in Spain, our museums are very, very good. So we all have something. But the thing is, the difference in between countries is not only about science communication, it is linked in how those countries treat science and scientists, and how the people of those countries feel about science. So everything is correlated. So definitely there are very, very big difference, but I don't know, maybe you can feel it as an opportunity to go to the UK, where I said that there are amazing science communication, or maybe you can go to a country with no big science communication and make it big. It's on your hands.
Yeah, thank you.
Any
Okay.
other comments? I think we don't have any more comments, so Esther.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for listening. It's been a really good time, and I wish that you enjoyed and that I will see you around in the psychom world soon.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Have a good evening. Good afternoon.
Bye. I think your ideas are going to be very, very helpful for them because they have their presentations on Friday, and some ideas could be very, very helpful. Thank you very much, Esther. See you soon.
Bye bye. My pleasure.
Bye.